Hello everyone. The rains had been falling for days, pounding the hills of southern China with unrelenting fury. Reservoirs brimmed with water, their surfaces trembling under the weight of the storm. Engineers stood on dam walls with flashlights, radios crackling with warnings. Hydrological stations reported rivers rising by meters each hour. Still, officials insisted the dams could hold. In cities downstream, families slept uneasily as thunder shook their windows. Children huddled under blankets, unaware that cracks were spreading in the giant concrete walls above them. Farmers in low-lying villages went to bed listening to the hiss of rain on tin roofs, never imagining that before dawn their homes would be erased. Midnight approached with an eerie calm, the kind that comes before catastrophe. The air was heavy, ghostly, as if the land itself was holding its breath. Across Brazil, thousands of miles away, meteorologists watched satellite data with dread. They saw rainfall charts bleeding red over China and whispered, "The dams can't hold much longer." Just after midnight, the silence shattered. One dam groaned like a dying giant. Steel gates buckled, concrete cracked, and with a thunderous roar, the walls split open. Torrents of black water surged into the valley. Downstream, sirens screamed too late. Rivers that once flowed gently through villages became walls of water racing faster than cars. In Bai, highways vanished beneath waves. In Luju, entire neighborhoods disappeared in minutes. Residents awoke to chaos. Water smashing doors, glass shattering, entire houses ripped from foundations. Mothers clutched children as they scrambled to rooftops, lightning illuminating seas where cities once stood. In Chi, a bus was swallowed whole, its headlights flickering before vanishing under black water. The night of collapse was not just a flood, it was an execution. Entire towns sentenced to drowning in the dark. The dam, once a symbol of progress, had betrayed its people. And as images trickled across the world, Brazil gasped. Their own dams, many older, many weaker, suddenly felt like ticking bombs. By dawn, the true scale was revealed. 620,000 people trapped. Roads erased, airports shut, railways submerged. Helicopters circled above, their spotlights scanning seas of rooftops, each one crowded with survivors waving frantically. Rubber boats fought currents filled with debris, cars, trees, fragments of homes. Rescue teams pulled families from upper floors, but every success was shadowed by the cries of those they could not reach. Hospitals overflowed with the injured, while morgues filled with the drowned. Radio stations read lists of the missing, names swallowed by static. In shelters, children sat in shock, their eyes blank, holding waterlogged toys. Entire districts had become islands with no food, no power, no clean water. The trapped were not just statistics. They were mothers whispering prayers, fathers digging through mud, children asking, "When can we go home?" But for 620,000, there was no home to return to. And in Brazil, where floods and dam collapses have haunted the past, the number 620,000 rang like a ghostly bell, a warning too large to ignore. When the water settled, what remained was not silence, but something worse. Ghostly quiet, heavy and unending. Streets lay caked in mud, their homes reduced to skeletons of brick and steel. Schools stood like tombs, their classrooms filled with brown water, children's books floating like corpses of memory. Factories drowned, their machines rusting beneath stagnant pools. In one district, only the top of a stadium's floodlights rose above the water, glowing eerily at night like candles for the dead. Survivors searched rubble for traces of their lives. A wedding ring, a photo album, a child's shoe caught in a branch. Radios crackled with missing persons reports, each name sending waves of grief through shelters. The aftermath was ghostly, as if the land itself mourned. Brazil watched these images in stunned horror. They saw not strangers but themselves, for they too knew drowned towns, broken families, schools silenced by mud. The ghostly aftermath in China became a haunting prophecy for Brazil. Despair turned to anger. Survivors shivering in shelters asked the question, why? Experts confirmed what many feared. The dams had been weakened for years. Maintenance delayed, warnings ignored, corruption eroding the safety of millions. The rain had been heavy, yes, but it was neglect that killed. Betrayal stung worse than the floodwaters. People had trusted the walls to hold, trusted their leaders to protect. Now they sat in ruins, betrayed by both nature and man. Farmers who lost fields wept not only for crops, but for the betrayal of promises that dams would protect them. Parents mourning drowned children whispered curses at officials who said the water was under control. Despair filled every corner of the shelters. It was not just about rebuilding, it was about broken trust. In Brazil, where dam failures like Mariana and Brumadinho already scarred the national memory, this betrayal struck like lightning. The ghost of China's drowned cities whispered into Brazil's ears, "Your walls too may betray you." As news spread, Brazil trembled. Television anchors described the night China's dams gave way, while Brazilians whispered, "What if it's us?" Their rivers swell each rainy season. Their dams age and crack. Their cities sprawl across floodplains. The reflection was unbearable. São Paulo with its fragile drainage, Rio with its landslide-prone hills, Minas Gerais with its notorious dams, all looked suddenly like China's Guangxi, like Bai, like Luzhu. The horror in Asia became a mirror across the ocean. Brazil was not watching another country's tragedy. It was watching its own future, ghostly and chilling. Mothers in São Paulo saw themselves in the mothers clinging to rooftops in China. Children in Manaus saw their schools in the drowned classrooms of Guangxi. Brazil shivered, not with pity, but with dread.